people-driven change,
civic engagement.
social accountability.
Welcome to Stawi Podcast.
Welcome to Ustawi episode 4. I'll be your host today, Rafael Tora. And I'm happy today. I have a guest in studio by the name Augustine Otieno. How are you, my brother?
I'm good.
Yes.
And this is Omondi.
Omondi.
Yes, Otieno is also good, but this is Omondi.
But yours is Omondi.
Yeah, mine is Omondi.
Yes.
But Otieno is also in the lineage.
Yes.
So today we'll go with Augustine Omondi.
Omondi.
Yes.
Okay. Welcome to our studios, and we appreciate for honoring the invite.
Thank you.
Kindly, can you tell us about yourself? You know, people might be asking, who is this Omondi?
Okay.
Yes.
Augustine Omondi is a legal practitioner, a certified professional mediator. Augustine Omondi is the founder of Sheria na Watu, and is a legal consultant, and in other words, also a political analyst.
Wow.
Yes.
So that's who is Augustine Omondi is.
Yes.
And I'm happy you've said you're a certified mediator.
Yes.
And today I wish we're going to base our discussion on mediation because we've been having these bipartisan talks.
Okay.
And that one brings the whole thing of mediation.
Yes.
What's your take on bipartisan talks?
Oh, you see, for these discussions to work well, these discussions, they should be discussions that are based on issues. And remember, these bipartisan discussions, they are derived politically. That's why we are having the bipartisan discussions in parliament. And that's why even the members of parliament have been nominated to go for these particular discussions. For somehow, in other words, it looks as if it's for the benefits of Kenyans. But on the other angle, it's for the benefits of specific individuals.
Political parties
Political
or leaders?
Not even political parties. You see, political parties has nothing to do with the bipartisan discussions. It's either Kenyans or politicians.
Okay.
And because now you see the people who came and they said, let's have bipartisan discussion. There was a problem that they were supposed to solve. The problem on its own is political in nature. The core issues of these bipartisan discussions is political in nature. Leave alone these other issues that have been mentioned there, the high cost of living, of which that one affects people across the board. But now the people that are now people who are now the instigators of bipartisan discussions are politicians, because oppositions, they want to stamp the authority to show that actually when they call the house, there is order, and the government also want to stamp the authority that we are the government.
Yes.
We can always control. And you see the way from since then, when now the demonstration was stopped and the government show a sign of goodwill, and to have discussions and to have in parliament discussions as compared to what the opposition was proposing. It was a better way to tone down the country in terms of what was going on with respect to demonstrations. And this government is very smart, because if you look at the way the direction that they took, it really helped them to tone down the opposition leader Raila Amolo Odinga,
Yes.
in making him believe that these bipartisan talks will bear a result. But now, as for where we are and where we are going, it seems that it was just a way to tone them down, because the government has always come out and said that, remember, guys, these issues that you want us to discuss, they are non-issues to us. If it is about the opening of the server, the election was done, and it was dusted. We went through the legal process. If there was time for people to complain and people to raise issues, and actually it happened.
Yes.
So what we are dealing with right now is the common problem for a common mwananchi, and the issue of high cost of living and such issues. And now you see, these are not issues that can be solved in the bipartisan.
Okay.
These are issues that need the action from the government. So what is supposed to be solved by this bipartisan that cannot be solved is the issues of electoral process. right?
Yes.
How can we make it better? And remember, these discussions they will not bear positive fruits. We'll just buy time, and Raila will give up with them, and maybe they'll say that maybe us as member of parliament, after listening to what other parties have to say, and after listening to the people who elected us, this is what we have decided.
Okay.
But even today, let me say that they have decided that the issue, let's go and open the server. The main question that we should ask ourselves, what do we stand to achieve? What do Raila stand to gain? What do the government stand to gain?
Yes.
So if you try to look deeper into the issues, you realize that there is nothing to gain because the election are passed. Because the worst that can happen is that we have opened the server. We've realized actually you didn't win, and now we have declared Raila Amolo Odinga, of which it is constitutionally is completely
It will never
impossible. It will never happen.
Yes.
Not under this country, not under the same law. And you see the way we are a law-abiding citizen and Kenyans. It's very hard to have things be done in a crooked way, maybe through some sort of discussion. And you see, even previously, you find that the government has found it hard even to implement things directly. Even when they tried to appoint the CIS, and it becomes an issue because people will always move to court and have to stop. So there is no way you can declare a presidential candidate through a bipartisan discussion.
Yes.
So if that is the case, then it means we stand no chance of having a positive outcome that can make a positive impact, that can tone down an opposition in a government to say that we guys, we are comfortable. So at the end of the day, if Raila want to go to the street, he will still go to the streets. What people should be discussing, and this member of parliament, actually, if I were them, I could turn these bipartisan discussions to discuss what's happening right now to ensure that a common mananchi is well catered for. And
Now, do you feel we made the first mistake of appointing politicians to engage in bipartisan talks?
But now, whom did you expect to appoint to these bipartisan talks? You see, remember, there are politicians are the people who went on the streets, right?
Yes.
What would have happened that was maybe best was that there should have been a goodwill. The people who have a problem are not these politicians. They are very specific politicians. These are party leaders. One of them is the former Prime Minister Raila Amolo Odinga and the current president and the deputy president.
Yes.
So those are the people that they could have been allowed a chance. They have a sit down because they're the people who are followers. Raila Amolo Odinga has over 8 million followers. The president have almost over 8 million followers. It was just a matter of drop your pride. Let's have a discussion. Let's see if what the complaint issues that we're having, does it really affect on how we can do things? Maybe it will have improved things. Remember, these are Azimio. They had a manifesto. They have a manifesto too on how to make this Kenya great.
Yes.
And UD also had a manifesto on how to make this Kenya great. So if you try to kill a discussion by giving members of parliament to discuss, members of parliament that can be offered money and change their minds, members of parliament that have failed us before, there is nothing positive that can come out of this bipartisan discussions. The best thing that could have happened was that the president could have sat down with the opposition leader, then they involve mediators. They come in place to ensure that we have a harmonized, a win-win situation whereby the president, the state, definitely someone will have to lose, someone will have to win.
Yeah, of course.
So because mediation is all about win-win, lose-lose, that someone will drop an ego somewhere, someone will get something. So I think the opposition leader and the current president will have had a seat and involve now private practitioners like the mediation parties in Kenya to ensure that there is a proper solution that is found for the benefit of Kenyans. But now when it's thrown to the politicians, it is an ego kind of a move, whereby the president is like, I cannot have a sit down with you. And the opposition is like, we are also not interested in the handshake. So what do? Give those people to decide for us.
But now, don't you think like the previous government, we saw the former president, when they had discussion with the former prime minister, it came out that they had a handshake, and some politicians felt that they were not part of the discussion. And then there was a problem in the inner circle of the government. Do you think that is the phobia the president had, or there was something behind?
I think, you see, the president that we're having right now, I think he has a goodwill in terms of moving the country forward. And he also have interest in having a sit down with other people who are interested, who can make the government great. And remember, this government is his. So at the end of the day, it is him that will point a finger at, not to any other person. So I think the president was more than willing. But now you see the people that are surrounding the president, starting with the deputy president, they cannot allow such discussion to take place because there is a feeling. It's not even a feeling. handshake. It is well known. You see, and that is what happened in the previous government, when a very simple handshake ended up that the sitting president was supporting an opposition, and actually it killed our opposition completely. And the
Yes.
deputy president ended up becoming an opposition leader
Yes.
in a government that they formed.
Yes.
In other words, it enabled the government to do business. Even if you see the health of the president improved, and now from a thin person to now, it means he had an opportunity to work positively for the gain of Kenyans. And if you compare that government, he had 2 terms. If you compare what he did in the first term and what he did in the second term,
yeah.
it means there was a lot of improvements in the second term, whereby even the corruption reduced. There was a lot of developments. That can only happen when there is support from the opposition leaders in terms of government developments. And that is what maybe the president could have seen it from the other side, that it's not all about the handshake.
Yes.
It can be for the benefit of Kenyans. This gentleman lost, but he didn't lose that much. And again, he had a manifesto.
Yes.
Is it possible we have a discussion to see what was in that manifesto that
Yes.
can make our government better, right? And that's the only way. And you see, that was the only way to tone down Raila, because that's what Raila wanted. He might not be interested in even in the handshake, but he just wanted to see that my ego has been served. I had a sit down with the president, and now we had a discussion. And even if those things are not done, but they have been heard.
At least I'm hard.
Yes, that was the best way to deal with Raila Amolo Odinga, because now when you push him to parliament, you've blocked him out, because he's one of the people who is championing.
Yes.
So the captain is not even the captain. The players are playing without the coach, right? So when it comes to serious decision making, the coach is not there to decide on who player to come to the field.
Yes.
So they just choose, let's take 5 people to go to the field. There is no time out to come and discuss. So I think the reason why this thing might not bear fruit, it's because the people who have problems, who raise these problems are not in that discussion. And those people, one of them is Raila Amolo Odinga, former Prime Minister, and one of them is the president, who is the head of the government. So I think that for the interest of Kenyans, they should drop their pride, they have a discussion, they have sit down, they see how can we make it better. And I can tell you, if the president was to call Raila Amolo Odinga today and they have a discussion wherever they will have it, whether in this country or outside this country, with another party sitting down to watch the discussions or to moderate,
Yes.
I can tell you, and these bipartisan discussions will end. And funny enough, it will not improve in a common life of a mwananchi. Mwananchi should not think that this bipartisan will even reduce the high cost of living. No, it is the responsibility and the duty of the government to ensure that the high cost of living is bearable for a common mwananchi, whether the opposition leader complains or demonstrates or not. And remember, when Raila goes to the streets, people might see that Raila going to the streets for the interest of Kenyans. From where I stand, I don't think it is for the interest of Kenya. No. The Kenyans did their part. They went, they voted based on how people saw their manifesto. And now the reason why he's on the streets is because he didn't win.
Okay.
Yes.
So does it mean the government used a strategy for bipartisan talks to make sure Raila is not on the streets?
Yes, to tone him down.
As they buy time, or what next?
You see, this president is too smart for Raila Amolo Odinga. That's what I think. The president is too smart for Raila Amolo Odinga. He knows what will make Raila tone down. So bipartisan was one of them to tone Raila down. Yeah, if he had decided to call Raila to State House or somewhere and have a discussion,
yes,
or maybe a Harambee House, Raila will still tone down. But now he wanted to stamp his authority in terms of, you see, I'm the president. And I can always dictate how we have this discussion.
Because he's been seen in several occasions saying, one thing I can assure you, we are not going to have anything like a handshake. The president is ever saying that.
But now you see, the opposition leader also come out very seriously say that we are not interested in the handshake.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But now you see the goodwill. The goodwill must come from the president in terms of, and that goodwill should be directed or should be led by the issues affecting Kenyans and the issues that are being raised. And if you ask me, the issues that opposition is raising that touches on Kenyans, maybe it's the high cost of living.
Yes.
We have nothing to do with the results of election because we have already done our part. And you see, a Kenyan voter knows where his right starts and where it ends. So if you vote today and you don't protect your votes, sometimes it might not be our problem. But now Raila he's a dissatisfied party that have decided to tag along his followers, who will always go with him wherever he goes.
Yeah.
Yes, but now these followers they don't stand to gain anything.
Like somebody was asking, what if today we open the server, right? We find indeed President William Ruto did not win the election. What next?
You see, the reality is that I didn't think if the president won the election, I didn't think he didn't win the elections. Based on what was said by then, that people were not able to attend 50 plus 1%. And now at the end of the day, by that time, the country was not in a position to even do a rerun because we were not in funds. So in either way, one or the other, maybe somebody worked their things up, maybe. But what I'm very sure, and I can tell you, this election, it was not, the person who was winning this election was not winning this election at the IEB Center. He was not winning this election at Bomas. No. This
What
election,
does that mean?
This election, the person who won this election did it at the grassroots level, at the polling stream. Because remember the way the system of IBC was set, it was not even easy to manipulate the results. And that's why even if you check if you've done your research very well, the portal of IBC, the servers, it had almost 46,000 streams or boxes in the system.
Yeah.
So if election is being held, let me say Nyakimincha East, polling stream number 5. That polling stream number 5, it has its own form 34A, and again the kit to scan the what? To scan the
form.
To scan the form.
Yeah.
So when immediately you scan the form,
It's
the
uploaded.
system locks. You cannot add
You cannot
or remove.
Yes.
Right? That can only happen by a directive by a court. So you cannot, even IBC officials cannot add or remove when you already scanned in the system. So the reason why I'm saying that this election, the person who won the election did not win it at the IEBC, it's because that was what's happening at the grassroots level. So if you look at the history of Azimio very well, they didn't even have agents from the normal grassroots level, people who could watch, and you see the history is having that in some areas, people just agree that let's decide, let's give this Mzee 0 or 2, because there were no agents at all. So if with all the system that the gentleman had, he was not able to have agents. You see, these agents were the ones who should now be reporting.
Yes.
Yes, saying that the result in the system is not what
it's not what we have.
How do you dispute? The only way you can dispute a result is when you have a counter result.
Yes.
You cannot dispute results when you don't have a counter.
Something you can compare.
Yes, you can say, from our agents,
yes,
this is what we were given. From your portal, this is what you're given. That's mean even if we open the system today and we find that Ruto did not win this election, the Azimio people, they have no data to. And you see, that was a problem that was even seen when they were at the Bomas of Kenya.
Yes.
And the issue was, you see, the likes of Gladys Boshule, they came with papers, or they were trying to rig. And see, that is what was expected. Because as chief agents, you were expected to go to Bomas with your Form 34As. One, either in physical or in soft.
Yes.
Right? So you were expected to come forward with the Form 34As, 46,000 and above, all of them. Or come with a laptop with the scanned Form 36, Form 34As. From the local, from the voting streams, you were supposed to be given by your agents. But now from what you can see, even the chief agent of ODM just came with his phone.
Now, let me ask you, does it mean all these accusations we had about Chebukati, what can you say? Because you say you've made it clear whatever happened from the grassroots, and then Chebukati only was at Bomas, reading what was transmitted to Bomas. Now, where does he come in between?
You see, the constitution gives Chebukati, even the election act, they give the Chebukati. Chebukati is the returning officer for the presidential results. I think he's the one who gives Form 34. Is it Form 34C?
Yes.
So there is no any other chief agent apart from Chebukati. So it was, and you see, sometimes you can blame the gentleman, and the gentleman is completely clean because he's being given results. The gentleman is not even verifying the form. He doesn't have time to verify all Form 34As. I don't think so. It can't happen. Those forms, that is too much. Even we Kenyans, when we tried going to the IBC system, trying to calculate, there was nothing that we are coming out. You are coming out with your different figures. I'm coming out with mine, other one with. So all the figure that we are coming out was for our own interest.
Yes.
So if you want to blame the chairman, who is the returning officer, who did not even go and vote, did not even go to this grassroots to counter and check, it's very difficult. I think it was the responsibility of each party or each coalition to ensure that they have agents, and so that what is presented there is fair. And you see, this thing, it could have been solved long time ago.
Yes.
At the that's why you have verification. We can the meaning of verification. This is what is expected. Come
Yes.
with your form 34As or form 34Bs. Let's verify with what
Yes,
we
let's
have.
compare what you have.
Yes, if it doesn't tally, let's say we don't agree, it doesn't tally. This our agents are having this one, but at this instance, Raila Amolo Odinga chief agents did not have anything to verify. They were there to confirm and dispute what the Kenya Kwanza were coming with. And that was a very big problem. So even it puts even their supporters in a very big position that we have come out and we have voted. And you guys were not able to do your work up there. So right now, and that's why you see these demonstrations, they're not for the benefit of Kenyans, because a Kenyan who voted for him, you will still taking to this Kenyan. It's like Party A owes Party B 10,000. Party B tells Party B, I will pay you end month. Then end month comes, then Party B tells Party A that I have not paid you because Party C owes me some 100,000.
Yes.
So I want you to accompany me, we go see Party B, so Party C, so that we can talk to him. So when you go to Party C, tells you, but guys, I have not been able to pay because
Yes.
A, B, C, D. Tafadhali, you guys give me time till next month. Then next month again, Party C tells you that, you see, I have not paid Party B because Party D has not paid. So again, Party A, Party C, Party B move to Party. So there is someone here who is a collateral damage.
Yes.
Is the Party A who is owed by Party B. His 30,000. These people are now recruited in a circle of stress.
Yes.
That's what is happening. Raila Amolo Odinga now is recruiting Kenyans to try to help him acquire what he would have acquired before. Whereas Kenyans had already done their part in terms of vote, in terms of voting.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think Azimio people are here because of their negligence, and it should be a learning lesson for them. They will never have.
But now, do you think
a better hand?
Do you think they were overconfident, or what happened?
No, I think
who do you blame?
You see,
What happened?
No, it's arrogance, because history tells us that, and it was even said by their agents, chief agent, that
Yes.
A day to election, somebody just stepped in and changed everything and said, guys, you guys have agents? We have agents. No, we are not going to use those ones. I will give you the other ones. There is no any other person in his sober mind who, not unless that person wants to sabotage your election, that can change something like an agent a day or some hours before an election. It is completely impossible. You can't recruit, you can't manage, you can't monitor. It is completely impossible. So I think with the confidence that they had, that the government is on their side, there was too much arrogance and nothing much was done in terms of protecting these votes. So as much as Kenyans will want to be blamed, I think it was because of their negligence and arrogance that ended them up in opposition, whereas they had all chances to be in the government. Even if people were to help you win,
Yes.
right? They can only help you win if there is the willingness. If you look at I think in 2002, when Uhuru, the former president, Muigai Kenyatta, was being supported by Moi.
Yes.
The history have it that when they were in State House and the results were coming in, and everyone was worried, is Mzee not saying anything? But
yes.
Hey, but
What's not happening?
But things are moving. Is Mzee not saying anything?
They are surprised when
Mzee
Mzee
said,
comes.
"Asema tu iko sawa, maintain peace." And you see, the history tells that the likes of the former president were in the State House.
Yes.
And the government cartels, they were there. People were like, is the president closed himself in a room? And again, he said he came out and people are watching results and he's not worried.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
He's saying that all is well, and people are saying, now people start murmuring,
Yeah.
is the government not doing anything about what's happening? They were like, Mzee will pull up something the last minute, maybe at midnight. The midnight comes and goes, there is nothing that happens. And the Mzee calls the young man, tells him, my young man,
Prepare.
go and tell, go and concede. Go and concede. And that is now what happened here.
Yeah.
Because Mzee felt that he has already done so much
His
for
part,
the gentleman to even rig for him an election.
Yes.
And I think even Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, in his capacity, he has done everything any other person can do to enable someone win. It's
He
like
showed real support.
he had already showed extreme support, because even this election, it's that they are the one who supported this election at 100%, both financially, emotionally. And see, it's not easy to see an outgoing president come out cleanly and support an opposition and say that me, I will support you, I will stand with you. I know you have good interest for Kenyans. It's not easy.
It's
Not
never
easy.
happened.
It has never happened.
Yes.
So I think to him, he had already done everything in the sphere, in the legal sphere, to ensure that the right thing was done. For the gentleman to lose, there was nothing he could have done. And that's why I think he told them that, guys, accept.
There's no another
At
way.
this point,
Yes.
accept. This gentleman,
Now,
maybe they were too smart for us.
Saying that and that being dusted, do you think the changes being proposed by partisan on the IEBC are going to change anything?
I think, you see, the IBC, they should be the recruitment should be done in a legal way. The advertisement should be done. People who are interested should apply. The vetting should be done. It should not be that some people somewhere, and you see the issue, even the IBC that we are having now, the outgoing one,
Yes.
that now we are having issues with. It was some few politicians that proposed them. If you remember very well what happened there, through the handshake, that's how we ended up having some of the commissioners. And some people, they were put there and you see the people who were put there by the government, for the interest of the government, are the people who opposed.
Yes.
They're the people who say, the Krachara said, no, we don't agree, whereas they're the ones who are reading these results.
Yes.
So I think recruiting IBC officials should be done in a proper legal way, that no one will come later and say that it is other people who are proposed for selfish interest.
Yes.
And I think that one should be a lesson even to this bipartisan, that if there is something that they should touch, I don't think if you have a problem with our election laws, maybe what we should go after is the IBC Act. Maybe we go there, we say, we define the functions of the commissioners, because we just realized that the functions of commissioners are not well defined in terms of what is their capacity and what is their capability. What if they disagree with the results that the chairman is going to announce?
Like
And the
whatever
chairman
happened,
can still go to announce or not. What if we have a dissenting opinion of at least the 3 commissioners or a majority number? What happens? Do the chairman forget about them and go and announce the results? So that's what we need to do. We need to define the roles of these commissioners in IBC, so that we know that if something happens, this is how it's supposed to be. So that we know this commission that we're having, either we're having them to announce the results, or we're having them. And you see, it's very dangerous for commissioners to decide on the results. Because when people are voted, the will of the people supersedes any other will. Even the will of the chairman. The will of the people is what should be announced. So it means these commissioners, the government, we're trying to amend the law. We must maybe find and give them an opportunity or power, but not to shortchange the will of Kenyans by saying that we, of us, we have refused and rejected the results, and this is what we think, and this is what should be announced. I think we also, as a country and leaders, we should be able to accept the results that come out. It's very important. It's very necessary, so that we can see, because in the 2022 election, I think it was the most transparent election from where I stand, in terms of technology, in terms of system, in terms of maybe the management, but in terms of process, it was the most transparent and a successful election compared to other elections, because this IBC, they made improvements from what happened in the 2017 elections. And if you look at the 2017 presidential petitions, very many issues that were raised, like give us access to the server. The people were given access to the server. There was no other result than the result that was being seen. Right? Even if you open the server, there is no any back results than the results than the Form 34A that in the system. So it maybe, as what they could have done by now, they could have computed all the results that are in the IBC portal, then come up with the result, because that is the server. So they ensure that there is access to the server for everyone. And you see, it's being said that over 68 million people tried to access and hack the server, and they were not. So it means Kenyans will be Kenyans.
It was secure,
It was extremely secure for these Kenyans to do this deep.
But now, this issue of opening the server, which other servers they asking for access?
Now that's the issue now, because now you see the server, we were given read-only, but you can always see the results. So if you can see the results, not unless they're telling us that there were some other results that were manipulated behind. So what they could have done, they could have calculated the result that in the system. If the computation does not match the IBC, then they
Yes.
should tell us that Kenyans, any other part, or they even invite the international community to come and verify what is in the
Yes.
system.
Mm.
Then if what is the system is not what IBC announced, that's now when we can be having stories that actually this election was stolen and it was not handled. But now if that is not happening, I don't think there is another server beyond the server that we can access as Kenyans.
Wow. Now, from the list of the bipartisan talks, you say the only thing that touches the common mwananchi is the cost of living. What else do you think is more important?
You see, we can say the electoral process is more important, but the question is, are they in a better position to discuss the electoral process in a bipartisan kind of a discussion? I think maybe it should be brought in the floor of the House. Maybe we should be thinking of doing amendments in the Election Act. Maybe that's what we should do. But now
Yes.
it's a very risky event that few people can sit down and decide on behalf of Kenyans. And remember, uh, as much as they were elected, not all members of parliament are in these bipartisan discussions.
Yes.
So when it comes to election, that's a national issue. It should be given to people. Should be given to give their opinions. There should be a very proper public participation.
Yes. Yes.
If the amendments were supposed to be, it means someone should come up with a bill in how to make things better. So I think this bipartisan discussion should not be used maybe to amend or maybe to restructure the IBC.
Yes.
And you see, we cannot be restructuring IBC
No,
each and
then-
every election. It's going to no, it's not fair. It's not good even for our democracy.
Do you
We
think so far there is nothing that there's something that should be touched with the IEBC? Or as we stand, let's work with what
No, we have said that we need to define the roles of the commissioners. That's a
Yes.
very key thing. That's a very key thing.
Yes.
So that this, you see, what we are having now, that these commissioners, or right now they are flower girls and flower boys in the commission.
They have nothing.
Because now you see, if their voice has no impact,
Yes.
then we should be suing them for swindling Kenyans' money, because now you see, they are stealing. They are stealing by somebody, because now you see what we expect them to do, they are not doing. Their role is not well defined,
yeah,
right? And we are paying them a lot of money. So no, I think their role should be defined. That's what we should go after. So maybe we should go after the act, and maybe we say we involve Kenyans. What do you think we should do about the IBC Act? But these people, they should not sit down to decide what's happening on the act or with the IBC. Yes.
Wow. Now, I take you back a little bit. You said the president has a goodwill to the progress of the country. And now we're having this financial bill, which has been discussed. It has raised these more issues. What's your take on this financial bill? Do you think they have done enough public participation? Do you think the issues raised there, they really for the goodwill of Kenyans?
I think, you see, the bill,
Yes.
and you see, we've been told this afternoon that the committee, the
Yes.
budget committee, has already reduced housing levy from 3% to
Yes.
1.5.
1.5, yeah.
And we are like, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Are Kenyans not focusing on the issues on the finance bill, or is the government changing us? Because now you see, finance bill have a lot of things in it.
Yes, yes.
That touches on very many issues. But from how it stands is that Kenyans have really focused on the housing
the
levy.
housing levy, yeah.
The Kenyans that are working and the Kenyans that are not working.
Yes.
In fact, the people who are not working are the ones who are complaining
more
about the housing levy. And you wonder, how is this going to affect them?
Yes.
Whereas we have issue of like VAT.
Yes.
We have issue of 8 to 16% of
Yes,
fuel.
yes.
We have issues of content creation, 16% tax. We have issues of taxing the products. We have issue of increasing tax on imports to reduce imports and to
Increase exports.
increase not exports, not to increase export, to increase internal or our internal manufacturing,
yes.
local products. and we have issues of even taxing. Even they are going to load to even taxing even chama money for
Yes.
that our mama
This
must be
table
having.
banking. Yeah.
Table banking, they are going after them.
Yes.
They are going even after human women here. They are going. These people, this finance bill, it has more serious issues than the housing levy.
Yes.
So I think Kenyans should focus on the serious things that is in the finance bill.
Mhm.
So if I was to be the president today, you see, you cannot run an economy by taxing Kenyan, by taxing citizens, because the economy is deemed to fail. We should reduce tax on normal Kenyans so that Kenyans in business world can stabilize.
Yes.
So that when they stabilize, they're able to pay tax without even complaints. It means the government, what they should have thought of, instead of even thinking about the finance bill, they have thought of how to reduce even the rates, the interest rates at the bank, so that people are able to take loans and do business. You see what happened during COVID.
Yeah.
There was a lot of reduction in tax from payee, from in the bank interest. And you see, we didn't struggle. We didn't struggle at all.
Yeah.
We didn't struggle at all. It means people were able still to take loans and employer are able to pay. So I think with the finance bill, it's a good thing that its time has not come. And if you look to the countries that have people who have maybe who have implemented the housing levy, people like countries like Singapore. You see, Singapore, 80% of Singapore people are living in government houses. 80%.
Yes.
Despite that their population is much lower and the government is the economy is more stronger. You find that we have not reached that point of having a housing levy program to ensure that all Kenyans get houses. And the fact is that we are not. You see, if you look at the finance bill, and let me just focus on the 3% housing levy that has now been reduced to 1%. There is, I think, one is saying that for people who will get houses, they'll be given houses, and two says that the people will not get houses, and it has 4 ways. Way number one, that if you will not get a house, you will surrender your money to the housing levy.
Yes.
Not housing, retirement benefit. Or you will give your money to a person who is in the housing levy. Or number 3, it says that if you're not qualified, you can give to a spouse or somebody. Or number 4, it will be given to you, but it will be taxed as per the tax rate of that time. Right?
And again, you can only access the money after 7 years.
After 7 years.
Yes.
Now, you see, that's where it brings up the question. So this government is deemed to be in place for 5 years. We are talking about you redeeming your interest or
After
your
7
contribution
years.
after 7 years.
Yes.
The government is telling us that they will be here in the next government. And you see the way things are, and how the high cost of living is, and the way the politics that we're having in the country. I don't think this country right now can vote any other person twice. So there's a possibility that this government might lose in 2027. So if this government loses in 2027, people are not sure where they will go because there is no proper legal framework on how to follow up on your contribution.
But let me ask, it's what they're working on.
Yeah, I know. See, they're telling us
Yes.
that let's contribute. We work on a legal framework on how you can follow up your money, of which it should be the other way around.
Or they should have
They should have
worked
worked
on
the legal
work frame.
framework on how we can follow up our money, so that even when we contribute, we know we are giving you cash,
Yes.
but we'll go to John when we need our cash,
Yeah.
right? But now we are telling you that just give to us.
We'll
And now
tell
see
you
the-
where to find your
And
money
now you see
later.
the discussion has completely changed from the house
Yes.
to creating employment to unemployed. You see, that's a very serious discussion. It's a discussion that one day that discussion happened in Nigeria. And it was a very serious discussion because it brings a discussion of the rich and the poor. And the poor will always see the reason why they are suffering and they're in poverty is because the rich have stalled or have refused to participate in activities that can make them have employment. And it's a very serious discussion. And you see that such discussion, one time happened in Nigeria, and it was not an easy one. So I think it's a discussion, and it's even discussion that happened during the elections, the discussion about the dynasty and the hustler.
Yes.
And you see, that's a discussion that we cannot afford to bring it at this point. That the sitting president that we elected, wholesomely, that can tell us that the people who are employed are refusing, who have payslip, are refusing to give people who doesn't have a payslip through denial of the 3% levy. You see, it's had moved from the housing.
Yes.
It has moved from me getting a house. Now it has moved from me to contribute for another person to get what? To get a payslip. It's a sign that this government is shortchanging Kenyans. that Kenyans are not going to benefit. And it's a very dangerous discussion that if I was to be the advisor of the president, I can tell him we can't have that discussion. Let's just focus on the housing levy. Tell people that you will get this house, whether you contribute 1%, whether you contribute 100 bob, whether you contribute 300, whether you contribute 3,000, all of us will get what? Will get houses. Listen, the outgoing government had built houses, government houses.
Yes.
Some are in Gara, and you can go there, you can see them. There are houses in Mombasa. Some are even in Langata. The research says that these houses, they are not affordable to common mwananchi because they're going to around 4 million, 8 million. So at what point will a common mwananchi be able to access these houses? So if that is what happened in the previous government, and now the current government told us, it is true that they said they will give people a chance to own houses and through the housing levy. But they didn't tell people that it will be through their salaries. That's what they didn't tell people.
So it means from where you seated, the houses are going to be available, but they are only to be available to employed Kenyans.
Employed Kenyans.
Because it's only we can access the payslip.
Yes, because now you see, if you didn't contribute, it's very simple. The housing levy is very simple. Through your contribution, you can own a house. Through your contribution, you can't own a house. So it means there are some people who, through their contribution, they will be able to own houses. And there are people, through their contribution, they will not be able to own houses because after 7 years, their contribution could not match owning a house. And that is why in the housing levy, in the bill, it is stated people who will not be able to own a house. This is how to get your money back, or this is how to go about it, right? So let's say that they have reduced it to 1.5%. It means all of us are not going to get houses. That's what it means, because after 7 years, or 1.5% of each or everyone of our salary is not going to meet to buy a house at 7 million or at 4 million. It is not possible. It is not possible at all. So the government should be telling us what they should restore faith in Kenyans, that this housing levy, it is for the benefit and for the interest of Kenyans. It should not be telling us it's for them to solve the. Remember, it cannot solve employment problems because we have three types of people of employment, lack of employment in this country. People with no skills that are not employed. People with the skills, maybe they have gone to school, they have degrees, but there is no job market for them. Then we have now people who now came to the country with expertise, but there is no market to absorb them. So these three people, we have here professors, we have here doctors, we have here engineers, and we have here now people who are not anything. You're not telling me that these engineers, these doctors, they are going now to Mujengos through me contributing 3% levy that will solve the employment. That is not true. That is a lie. So this housing levy is not going to create any employment.
So do you think they're using that as a way of fixing Kenyans? Because at the end of the day, they might say it's creating employment. But after these buildings are done, what happens to these people who have been working in these buildings? So do we say the employment is over again, back to square one?
Now you say, no, that's why I told you the government need to restore faith. Because if you look from their campaign time and where we have reached, the narrative have really changed from kazi kwa vijana to kupanda miti to now Mujengo. Right? This government tomorrow.
But now Mujengo is where we use the wheelbarrow.
The government will no kwani even pandering miti we use wheelbarrow, my brother. What do you mean? What are you saying? What are you saying? It means this government tomorrow will tell us, but hey guys, we are not able to sustain you, all of you, in the what? In the Mujengo. This is what we wanted. It is very easy for the government to create employment for Kenyans. The government cannot employ all Kenyans because in the three categories of people that we have outlined, not all of them belong to Mujengo. Some of them, even the government really invested their money through help to take them to school. The government did not invest money. And you see, even the president cannot take his son or daughter to go to Mujengo. And if that one can't happen, then it should not be happening to any other person. And that's why we put the education at the affordable level and even had the tertiary institutions to train people who are not able to move the education to higher levels. That means we wanted a country where people are educated and are able to depend on themselves. So it is the responsibility of the government to ensure that people are able to depend on themselves employment-wise, so that the people are not pointing fingers to the government. And how do the government make this thing possible? It's very simple. The work of the government is to make the policies that allows people to depend on themselves business-wise.
Mhm.
You are able to employ yourself or to start business by government, maybe after creating policies, ensure that the cost of living is affordable for you. Right now, let's give a very simple example of Mama Mboga. Right now, sugar is 460.
Yes.
Before in the other government, it was 240.
Mhm.
But right now, if you are using power, if you are to buy power in Kenya Power in 2021,
Mm.
2022, in
Yes.
August,
Mm.
500 was giving you almost 31 units.
Yes.
I tried buying one yesterday, 500.
17.
No. It moved. 17 was last week. Right
Uh-huh.
now, it is 14. That was right now. It's 14 units. 500 will give you 14
14
units.
units, yeah.
Unga the other time it was almost 150.
Mhm.
Right now it's trading at 200, 180 to
Yes.
30.
Mm.
Gas has also gone up, right?
Mhm.
And the president at the glimpse they give us hope they're going to give us gas, but again they changed. They walisema sasa Mutungi is no longer gas.
Yes.
So they've drawn our hopes. Let's go to, you see what you have mentioned touches on common
Mwananchi,
Mwananchi.
yes.
The Mama Mboga that was doing chapos at the mtas in the last government
Yes.
will not be able to sustain because the cost of chapo has not increased. It is
Mhm.
still at 10 bob,
Or
20,
20 bob,
20
yeah.
bob.
Mhm.
But the sugar has moved to, has doubled
And
to
oil, it's
460.
expensive, yeah.
Yes, the oil is expensive.
Mhm.
The fuel is high.
Mm.
So this government should lower the cost of living so that a common Mwananchi who is Mama Mboga, who is doing business, is able to do business and pay taxes.
Okay.
Right? But what has happened now that they have closed because the economy cannot sustain their small SMEs.
Wakili, are you suggesting we get back the subsidies for common Mwananchi to enjoy, or what should be done?
It is not subsidies. I don't think it is subsidies.
What should be done?
You see, it's not subsidies. I think the government should find a better way of dealing with issues. And if I was to be the president today, I'll completely try to deal with the tax to ensure that the common Mwananchi is able to do it. The government the other day told us that they imported maize.
Yes.
Yes, they imported maize flour so that the maize will come down to 100. Though it was not very possible to come to 100. I don't know where they get the photos and they've posted online that the maize have come back to 100. I don't know where that supermarket was.
Yes.
But if you go to a normal supermarket, it's almost 200.
Yes.
So I think the government should have a very honest discussion with Kenyans. Guys, we are going to, I know right now things are very tough. We are going to lower taxes on specific areas on basic commodities so that you guys are able to sustain. We are going to talk to banks, to maybe central bank, to work on the interest rate for this specific period of time so that people are able to take loans and do business, so that when we stabilize in the next financial year, now we'll be able and come back with taxes to increase so that you guys are able to do it, to pay. But right now, we are going after a poor Kenyan who is now not even able to sustain himself. And you see, if this finance bill goes on,
Yes.
and it's passed the way it is, then there is a lot of costs.
So, do you think the finance bill, they are pushing it in hurry, or what is happening? Because some people say they have not been given a chance to raise their concern. Some people say they don't have the consent of what the finance bill is. As you said, people are only concentrating with what they know, and it's because there are some people who feel they have been pinched and that they are the ones making a lot of noise. And that's why people feel, oh, so I'm going to pay this levy, yet I'm not working. And that's why you said there's those people who are not employed and they're the ones complaining because they don't have the information of this financial bill. Do you think they could have given Kenyans time, go through the bill, do public participation, ensure people have the knowledge of what the bill is?
I think the problem is, you see, this president has stated very categorically the other day
Yes.
that he's now waiting to see people who will not vote against this bill.
Yes.
What does that mean? This is what that means. That means that they don't give a consideration to Kenyans' opinions. You guys complain forever, you will complain. Participate whatever you will participate in. But we know people to go after. We know that the people are going to vote for this bill.
And it's going to work.
It is not you.
Yes.
So whether we'll use money to coerce them, it is now upon us, right? And the story has it in the streets that the government is going to issue. And you see, remember, anytime the government said that they're going to pass something, they'll pass it.
Yeah.
Through all means, whether people will be given something, they will pass it.
Yes.
So this is a time for people This is a time for members of parliament to stand with their people.
Yes.
And I like what Wamuchumba said the other day, that my people have said no to this bill.
Yeah.
Right? My people have said no. They have gone through it and they have told me, Wamuchumba, if you bought this thing, wherever you are out, it is us who voted you.
Yes.
But now you see, we are having a situation where by the sitting president, he's not concerned by the opinion of Kenyans. He's saying that we're a democratic space, what he said during the Madaraka Deck, that he's really happy that Kenyans have participated. But now at the turn of events a day after, he's telling MPs that if you vote against this thing, then, and the people of Kenyans have rejected.
Yes.
So if it is true that he's listening to people of Kenya, that he should know that the people of Kenyans have rejected.
Yeah.
And now you see the members, you see, we cannot, what I said initially, we cannot reject this thing entirely. We can only do amendments to fit Kenyans, because there are some good things.
So do we say the amendments we are seeing, like now the levy has come down from 3% to 1.5? There was an issue of these content creators. They say they want to work on the 15% and maybe reduce it. Do you think now they are taking or not, or it's just a formality?
No, they should give members of parliament to discuss these things, because and they should collect Kenyans' views. And let me say 15% on content creators. What is the government doing to ensure that the content creators are doing their job? There's nothing the government is doing. Hakuna. These people, these content creators really struggle to come to fame.
Yeah.
They even fake their lifestyle to come to fame. They struggle. People, even it's Kenyans who comes through for them, maybe give them cameras for free to do recording. There is nothing that the Kenyan government is doing to reap from content creators. Content creators, in fact, the government should be happy that some few Kenyans or young Kenyans have decided to remove the burden of unemployment from the government.
Yes.
Have decided to create employment for themselves through content creation.
Yes.
So instead of charging them, the government should not be going after them, right?
Yes.
Because what does the government want? There is nothing the government have put in place to ensure that they are doing content creation. So if you watch, the people really struggle. So if this person again will not be able to do production, even a normal production for a content creator is quite much.
Yeah.
There is no way they're going to get funds to do that content creation. They really struggle. Some of them even walk different walk distances. Some of them even are not able even to eat. They fake their lifestyle just to ensure that they are in the map and people can listen to what they are saying.
Yes.
So if you tell me that now that the government have sat down and realized that here in the content creation, here there is money.
We need something. We need something. We
need something for this. And the government, you see, for you to tax, it means there's something that you are doing positive.
Oh yeah.
There's
a need the government is doing, but then they are saying they are providing internet.
Which internet? What are you saying?
Wakili.
No, my brother, just switch off your phone today. Tell me if you can't access government Wi-Fi where we are. You can't. If what are you telling me? The people, what are you saying? What are you saying? Which government providing Wi-Fi? Where do you stay? Are we not in the same country?
It's what I'm getting. But now, Wakili, as we wind up, we've been seeing the president giving promises after promises after promises. Before he was into office, he said when he gets into office, women are going to get free diapers for 3 months for babies. He said, after 3 months, you guys, you're going to see I'm putting aside 50 billion for Mama Mboga, 50 billion for Boda Boda guys. When he was in power, he said, as from 1st June, the gas you are buying at 2,500, you guys are going to buy it at 500, and the one buying at 1,500, you're going to buy it at 300. And as of now, the previous holiday, he even said now he's going to bring electric motorbikes. So what is really happening? Is the president still campaigning for 2027? Is the president still in the campaign mode? Because the promises he's been making, they have really never bore fruit. There's nothing you can say now. Indeed, the president has done something from whatever he had promised. What is happening?
I see. We cannot say that the president has not done anything completely. There was the president had made a joke of his promises. It's true he has given people hustler fund, but now people are receiving 250,
yes,
300, 500.
Which business can you do with that?
Even you cannot start a business for fruit.
Yes,
because one apple is almost. I tried buying one at the supermarket.
It's around 50 bob.
100 bob. I tried one in the quick mart is 100 bob.
Yes.
So if that is the case, then what is 250
Exactly.
to you? It can't.
Yes.
So I think
Mhm.
the government they should know that they are now the government for the 46 million of us.
Mhm.
They are not government for the 8 million people who voted for them.
Mm.
They should now know that it is time to deliver.
Yes.
They should know it is not time for politics.
Mhm.
There is no time for blame game. The opposition was in the opposition, and the current government won the election. It is their time now to come through for Kenyans.
Mhm.
People who voted them through thick and thin.
Mhm.
They should not be telling us the piki punky stories.
Yes, yes, yes.
You see, what I didn't expect on this government is for them to promise us every day.
Mhm.
Because now what the government is doing today, he's still promising us.
Yes.
They're not taking into consideration that what they promised that when they campaigned,
Yes.
it's only a bit of it that has happened.
Mhm.
The bigger chunk has not
Has not
happened.
been-
And the
yes.
common life of our Mwananchi have really worsened from when they came to power.
Mm.
So I think the government should be thinking on how to improve the lifestyle of a common Mwananchi by doing things that are right. Giving us a electric motorbike does not change the lifestyle of a common Mwananchi.
Mm.
Because even if you look at the motorbikes, they are riding at 80 kilometer.
Yeah.
You cannot even go to Nakuru with it because you will be forced to hide around Kimende somewhere and charge.
Mm.
So I think it is that does not concern Kenyan.
Yes.
Kenyans are already suffering.
Mhm.
We need the cost of living to come down.
Mhm.
We need the fuel. They told us that we're having high fuel because of Ukraine. They are not, that the government was lying. The outgoing government was lying about them having the high cost of living because of Ukraine.
Mhm.
Now that they're in power,
Mhm.
they should ensure that one comes down if they were truly truthful.
Mhm.
They told us that they're going to make our life better in terms of the hunger will come down. That one need to come down.
Yes, yes.
They told us that gas will come down. That need to come down.
Mhm.
We are not having what we are seeing now. We are having a government that is blackmailing us. They tell us something today and tomorrow they change it. To see, I was very shocked that the president can say that, guys, I did not promise the gas. I
Mhm.
promised the container.
Yes,
And you
yes.
wonder, how is a container changing the common Mwananchi's lifestyle? Because now 90% of us have gas cylinders with gas. What we
Yes.
don't have is the gas
Yes.
that is up. You cannot be telling us that you will be giving us containers. So what do we do with the containers? It does not change the common Mwananchi. So I think this government should change from a political mood to a government mood, whereby now they should start working on the things that can change the livelihood and
Yes.
the lifestyle of Kenyans. They should not be behaving like oppositions. Election came and it went. People voted. Everybody had a manifesto. It is time to implement the manifesto. We are not interested in those stories of it is opposition, it is this. We're interested of this is what we are doing. And the other day they said that they're following the footsteps of the former president Mwai Kibaki.
Yes.
They should actually follow the footstep of that president. It was a presidency of less words and more actions. So, but where they are heading right now, I think actually this government is the wrong direction. Maybe if I was to, the president should fire everyone around him. All the technocrats should be fired. He employ people who can be able to tell him that, Mr. President,
Yes.
Sukari is at
Something
460.
is wrong now.
Sukari is at 460. It is not 240.
Yeah.
Yes, people are suffering. People are sleeping hungry. Things are bad. Businesses are closing. People no longer do imports. Things are bad.
Yes, yes.
You need to do something. Those are the people that the president needs around him. But now this kind of people that he's having around him, that now you are the great, you've said, no. I think the president should stop politicking and now switch to a presidency mode.
Okay.
Right now he's in a campaign, but he should switch to a presidency mode, a president for 46 million, for 46 million Kenyans. Not a president for 8 million people who voted
for him.
Yes.
Now, if things go the way they are going, what do we expect?
We expect what happens in Egypt. You see, in Egypt, when people were tired, they went on the streets, and they used to do it in a very simple way. They work in the morning, they demonstrate in the afternoon, and you see this one. There will be a mass demonstrations not only in specific areas. There will be mass demonstrations all over the country, from Lokichogio to Busia, from Mamboga to the Rich, because now kila mtu atakuwa anapata pinch. So this government should save us that. We should not end that. And you see, the opposition that we are having, they should be opposition that we remember, we also voted the opposition.
Yes.
They should be the opposition that we voted in.
Yes. Yes.
They should not be the opposition that is flower girling
Mhm.
in parliament.
Mhm.
I think this opposition should follow in the footsteps of there's a party in South Africa called EFF
Yes.
that is being led by Malema.
Malema, yeah.
You see, their number is very little in the floor of the house,
Mm.
but their impact is massive.
Yes.
If they say no in the parliament,
It's
it is a
no.
no.
Mm.
It will not happen. If they say it will not happen, it will not happen. But their number is small.
Yes.
But in this country, we are having an opposition that has a bigger number in the house, almost the number of the government. So the minority in this house should do what is right. They, instead of going to the street to demonstrate, they should demonstrate in the floor of the house.
So then what are we missing?
We are missing a better opposition. We are having an opposition that is also tumbocratic in nature.
Okay. That's what I wanted to
Yeah, we're having opposition that is tumbocratic in nature, an opposition
Yes.
that someone can call.
Yeah.
That ndugu yangu kuja, we have 2 million here, we want you to
Wacha
vote
hiyo
here.
mchezo kwanza.
Wacha hiyo mchezo. And they leave that mchezo.
Yes.
And that's why you see even the opposition people are moving to the government. And you see, we should be very, very strict in terms of implementing the electoral laws.
Yes.
So that when you switch a party, you are able to strip off your position.
Yes.
Or your party. If you are nominated people like Sabina Chege, you should be able to drop even the position that you're given, so that when you go to the government, you cannot sabotage your position when in the government, whereas you belong in the opposition.
Yes.
And the seat that you are having here, you are given. To rather be given to another person who can hold that position. And you see, even the Speaker of the National Assembly, he should be able to execute. Though, if he tries to execute removal of Sabina Chega from the House,
Yes.
his life will be in danger.
Yes.
The government will impeach him because he will impeach
You're going
him.
against.
You're going against. And you see, that's where we lack. That's where there is no democracy.
Yes.
In the floor of the House, and we are not able to follow the rule of law the way it is. So I think. These things, for us to have a better link, the opposition should be able to be the opposition. They should go even to South Africa to benchmark.
Yes.
That even if there is any problem, they don't go to call a press briefing in Serena or something.
No.
They stick in the floor of the house. If they dance mandamano, they dance in the floor of the house.
Yes.
So that they're not involving Kenyans whereby we go in the street and some of us die. No, they should do it in the floor of the house. And if they raise those issues, definitely the parliament will not be able to pass anything illegal. Right?
Yes.
And they should also, and this is the time that the opposition leader and the opposition MPs and the government MPs in the floor of the house,
Yes.
this is the time that they are able now to reason. You see, these MPs, they have two key roles.
Yes.
They have the role to be loyal to the party, and they have the key to be loyal to the people. All these are requirements for an MP in the floor of the house.
Yes.
So what we should know is that between the people and their party leaders and the parties, which one comes first?
Yes.
When it comes to such issues.
Yes.
Because now, what comes first at this point, they should know it is the people that voted for them. The party does not vote people in. The party gives you a ticket
Yes.
to vie. Now the people, it means the party can give you a ticket and the people will vote you out.
Yes.
So if the people are the ones that decides, then they should be able to listen to what the people have said. And from what we are hearing, the people have said no. So let's not. And you see, this week, I think it's tomorrow.
Yes.
You will be shocked if 90% of the MPs will vote yes. I can tell you, because they'll be called behind the tent and be given something, kindly lumber here.
The calls will do something.
And because now you see, we are having a very corrupt MPs in the floor of the house.
Yes.
Who are democratic in nature, who are hungry of power and money. And someone will not see 2 million and run away. They'll take it.
They'll take it.
So they should know that at this point, if they do what Kenyans have not said,
Yes.
then they should forget their post in 2027.
Wow. Your parting shot, my brother.
My parting shot is the government should be the government that we voted in, and the MPs of parliament should be the MPs that we voted in.
Yes.
The government should know that they are not the government of the people who voted for them, that the government for 46 million Kenyans. Let them reason, let them stop politicking. We are tired of promises. We are now waiting for action. They should stop any form of action. They should focus on delivering the promises that they promised Kenyans in their campaign in 2022.
Wow. Thank you very much for being with us. And that has been our episode for today. See you next week.